Alright, hope everyone's doing wonderful today. Today what I got in store is I got something a little bit fun, a little bit different. Today I'm just out in the forest and it's absolutely beautiful day. Nice little spot. Thought it was really beautiful right here. Got an old tree that was cut down that's going to be kind of the background and also the little table today. So today I'm just going to be checking out some fun Magic cards. I just went through a big old box of my rares and I just pulled aside some rares I thought were pretty fun and interesting. I like the abilities of them and I just wanted to share them with you. Maybe show you some cards you've never seen before and yeah, just have some fun. So let's just check it out. I got a color. I got like one of some cards of each color. I would say even some multicolor cards and colors cards. And we're just going to kind of go through them. I don't think there's anything super old or anything like that in this selection, but just some fun cards even from like 10th edition, so still from a whiles back, so some of you may have not even seen these type before. Anyways, let's just go down. This is Upwelling. It's 3 and a green. It's an enchantment from 10th edition. Mana pools don't empty at the end of phases and turns. This effect stops mana burn. Mana burn used to be a thing. It's any extra mana that you left that you didn't use, you take damage for that. That doesn't exist anymore in the game, but this would get rid of that. And then also your mana pools don't empty at phases or end of turn. So if you tap 3 mana, you're on turn 3. At the beginning of turn 4, you already have 3 mana. You can tap 4 more mana, and you could have like 7 mana or something like that on turn 4. So it can be kind of cool. You can do some wacky things. Really, just keep your mana more fluid, I would say, because you can kind of keep the leftovers and kind of build up even quicker, perhaps. So just an interesting card right there. Next card I got is a Mistcutter Hydra. It's X and a green to creature Hydra. This is a cool Hydra. Not Hydras aren't always, they don't have the best rap, but I think this one's pretty cool. Interesting art as well. Got like kind of crocodile, like dinosaur heads. Kind of different animals even. Interesting. It's a creature Hydra. It says can't be countered. Haste protection from blue, so it has haste and can't be messed with anything that's blue. And Mistcutter Hydra enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. So pretty much can't be countered. It has protection from blue. It can attack right away. It's only 1 green plus X, so whatever you want to pay into that later on in the game, it can be bigger. And it has haste, so you can kind of use it right away. So I just think it's a fun card right there. And yeah, I thought I'd include it in here. Next card I got Rites of Flourishing. Beautiful card and name, especially for the background we're in right now. 2 and a green. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. So everyone gets additional card draw. Each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns. So you and your opponent, you each have a new kind of normal for the game. You each draw 2 cards, and you each can play 2 lands. So it's just kind of a different sort of game that you make with this card right here. Kind of just modifies the game, letting you draw more cards and more lands. I think that would be pretty fun. Fun games with that. Next one I got is a Shisato, Whispering Hunter, 3 and a green. It's like one of these snake creatures from the Kamigawa block. It's a snake warrior, legendary creature, so the legendary rule applies. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a snake. So you gotta sacrifice a snake. If you have no other snakes in this one, you gotta sacrifice this one, so keep that in mind. But when it deals combat damage to a player, that player skips his or her next untap step. So if you manage to get this through to your opponent, they skip their untap step. So that's pretty fun and wacky right there. You really want your untap step. What, are you going to not use your mana or something like that? But yeah, just a wacky card right there, especially if you need damage through. Next card I got Hunted or Haunted Troll. It's 2 and 2 green, so 4 mana. It's an 8/4. Huge creature for only 4 mana. It has green to regenerate, but this is the strange one right here. When Haunted Troll comes into play, put 4 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying into play under target opponent's control. So it comes into the battlefield. It's a huge presence, an 8/4 for 4 mana, 1 green to regenerate. So this thing, you can just keep regenerating it. And but your opponent gets 4 blue fairy tokens with flying. So interesting. You get something huge, but they get little flyers, and the art represents that perfectly. The big giant, and he's followed by his fairies in the sky. I got 4 of them around there. Very cool, by Greg Staples. Next card I got Force of Savagery. This one's just kind of a wacky card. It's 2 and a green. It's trample. It's an 8/0. If you've ever played this game, you know that if a creature has a toughness of 0 or less, it gets put into the graveyard. So if you play this, and you don't have something to bring its toughness up, it just dies right away. But if you like have a banner on the battlefield that says all creatures get +1/+1, you can get this out on the field as like a 9/1 for 3 mana. So if you have it in the right deck, this could be pretty powerful, and it does have trample, so even better. Any excess damage will just be dealt to the creature. creepy looking art. Next card I got some black cards. Got Indulgent Tormentor, 3 and 2 black, flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card unless target opponent sacrifices a creature or pays 3 life. It's a 5/3 flying creature demon for 5 mana, and kind of cool ability. It makes your opponent either have to sacrifice a creature or pay 3 life, and if they don't, you just get a draw card. So great card. Every turn they're either going to be taking 3 life, sacrificing a creature, or you're going to be drawing a card. So very cool right there. Really like that one. Got Curse of Death's Hold, 3 and 2 black, enchant player. Creatures enchanted player control get -1/-1. Just a really nice kind of banner. Usually most banners like give creatures +1/+1 or something like that. It's cool to see one that gives just all of your, you can enchant whoever you want, one of your opponents. You can give them all the creatures -1/-1. So if they have the Field of Goblins, a bunch of 1/1s, or making a bunch of tokens like those blue fairy tokens, this thing will just instantly reduce their toughness to 0, just killing them all. So just like really great against small little token decks and stuff. I got Treacherous Pit Dweller. It's 2 black mana. It's a 4/3. So again, small mana cost for a big creature, but there's got to be some sort of downfall in the text right here. When Treacherous Pit Dweller enters the battlefield, from a graveyard, target opponent gains control of it. It does have Undying, so when this creature dies, if no 1/1 counters on it, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a 1/1 counter on it. So it's a 2 mana 4/3, but once it dies, it has Undying, so it goes to your graveyard, then it comes back to the battlefield under your control with a 1/1 counter on it, so it becomes a 5/4, but then your opponent gains control of it. So you get it for your turn as a 4/3 for 2 mana, but once it dies, your opponent gets it as a free 5/4 creature. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's the downfall of that card. Next card I got Spoils of Blood, 1 black man. It's an instant. Put an XX black horror creature token on the battlefield where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. I think this would be a fantastic card, especially if you have like a board full of like a bunch of tokens or goblins or something like that, or your opponent does. Just board wipe, get rid of them all. Say that like 12 goblins your opponent had all died. You make a 12/12 creature. That's crazy. For 1 mana, instant speed. Just splice it along something with like a Ritual of Soot or something like that, and just really get a huge creature from it. So very cool. I like that card, and I really like the art as well. Very creepy. He's got blue flames and like strange ball hands. Very cool. By Eric Yang. Next, we're onto some blue cards right here. I got Insidious Will, 2 and 2 blue. He's staring at you real strong. It's an instant. Choose 1, counter target spell, so it could be a counter spell. You may choose new targets for target spell. So if your opponent's throwing a lightning bolt at you, you can change it and make the lightning bolt hit your opponent or one of their creatures. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So if you play a lightning bolt, you can play this after and say, I'm copying the lightning bolt. Now you have 2 lightning bolts to deal with, and you can pick a new copy for the second one. So if you want, you can kind of mess around with that, but very cool. It's like a cool little counter spell with a bunch of other utilities. It is 4 mana. Counter spells can go down to like 2 mana, or like Force of Will is like free, so it's a little bit expensive, but I think the utilities are worth it, and it's a lot of fun. Very cool. Next one I got Elite Arcanist, 3 and a blue. It's a creature human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card from your hand. So let's just say I have a lightning bolt in my hand. You exile it. X-tap, copy the exiled card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. So Lightning Bolt is a 1 mana cost card. So you'd pay 1, tap it, pretty much play a Lightning Bolt for free every turn. Kind of cool. Or whatever spell you want to put on there. If you want to put on a spell that makes them mill cards, you can pay however much, make them, whoa, big old bug, have them mill their deck with that. It got distracted. A huge old bug came by. All right, next one I got. Precognition Field, 3 and a blue. It's an enchantment. Interesting. Makes me think of like kind of planetary gear system in the art. Really like it. Adam Coquetti. You may look at the top card of your library. You may do this at any time. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery card, and pay 3 extra the top card of your library. So you can look at the top card of your library. It's like an extra slot in your hand almost for instant and sorceries, because if you have 5 cards in hand and then the top card of your library is like an instant, you pretty much have 6 cards in your hand. It's almost just like an addition to your hand, but you can only play instant or sorceries. And you can pay 3 extra on the top card of your library. So if you have a land on top of your library and you were hoping for an instant, you can pay 3, exile your land, and hopefully the next card under it is an instant. So kind of cool. Kind of get through your deck Just cool information you can get from it. Next card I got Quicken. I actually didn't really know about this one. I thought this was very cool going through my cards. It's just 1 blue, it's an instant. The next sorcery card you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. So powerful ability, it can make sorceries instant speed cards just for 1 extra blue mana, and you also get to draw a card. This is really cool. I would honestly probably have this in some of my decks over like an Opt or something like that. Even though I just think it would be a lot of fun because you could really mess with just casting sorceries at instant speed a lot. I think it's kind of more value than the Scry for situations, but very cool right there. Nice to find that one out. Next card I got Coax from the Blind Eternities, 2 and a blue. You may choose an Eldrazi card you own from outside the game or an exile. Reveal that card, put it into your hand. Really cool. You know Eldrazi's are huge. You could probably just have a blue deck and maybe like a couple of these in there. Have some of these huge Eldrazi's like Kozilek or something like that in your sideboard. Get this pretty much tutored up. You can put it right in your hand. And yeah, just really cool right there. I thought it was fun. And fun to see it in blue. Imagine just having like a super heavy counterspell blue deck and then having this in there and then being able to cast just huge Eldrazi's and there'll be nothing else on the board because you've countered it all. I just think that'd be kind of fun, something like that. The next card I got is Aethersworn Canonist, 1 and a white. Each player who casts a non-artifact spell this turn can't cast additional non-artifact spells. It's a 2/2. It favors artifacts. So if your opponent has like a blue deck and they're just playing a whole bunch of counter spells or a whole bunch of spells trying to get a bunch of card draw and stuff, they can only cast 1 non-artifact creature spell. Yeah. So they can only play 1 like spell per turn almost. You can only play 1 like creature per turn unless it's like an artifact creature. But yeah, just a cool, kind of puts a hold on the game a bit. Next card I got Barren Glory, 4 and 2 white. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no permanents other than Barren Glory, you have no cards in your hands, you win the game. So somehow, if you can manage to set up a board state where you only have Barren Glory and no cards in your hands, I mean, you have no lands, no creatures, no anything, no cards in your hands, and you have this on the field, you win the game. I don't know a good way to, I don't know how that would happen. Maybe like you fill up the whole board and you have a card that gives this hexproof, and then you have a card that says destroy everything, and you play that, and then it destroys everything, but that wouldn't work. I don't even know, but there'd have to be somewhere you can set this up, somehow destroy your whole board state and only have this on there. I know Armageddon could get rid of the lands, and maybe you have no creatures, something like that, but yeah, very interesting card. Thought it was kind of cool. Next one I got, Near Death Experience, 2 and 3 white. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 1 life, you win the game. Very cool. It's just like another alternate win state. Usually you win the game if you get your opponent down to 0 life. Battery just, I had to change my battery real quick, so I believe I just ended on this card. Near Death Experience, so pretty much it changes the game till usually you win if your opponent has 0 life, but this time you win if you have 1 life, so just kind of an alternate win condition. Kind of a cool card as well. Maybe something like mix this with like Death Shadow, something like that, or yeah, I don't know, just something that can reduce your life down to like 1 on command. Then you could like win the game with this if it's on the field. Interesting that it's in the color white. If it was in the color black, I'm sure there'd be more decks open to it, but since it's white, yeah, but kind of cool. Next card I got Touch of the Eternal, 5 and 2 white. At the beginning of your upkeep, count the number of permanents you control. Your life total becomes that number. So if you're playing like a deck, like maybe a white deck, like just a whole bunch of like soldier tokens or something like that, you always have a huge board presence. You got 20 permanents on the battlefield. At the beginning of your upkeep, your life total just becomes the number of permanents, so your life total will become 20. So this could be really cool. Even if you took like 19 damage the next upkeep of your turn, you'd gain 20 life, so you'd be at like 21. Or no, you'd just be at 20 because it makes your life total that number. But it's just very cool, and I'm sure some decks could be fun with that. Next card I got Hold the Line from Kamigawa. I really like these sets, the Kamigawa sets. I thought they're so much fun. I love like the samurai type of themed. 1 and 2 white is an instant. So instant speed, blocking creatures get +7/+7 till end of turn. I think that's fantastic. I think this is a fun card. It can be used as great removal. If your opponent has a bunch of big creatures and they're attacking, and you have a small board state, you only have a couple small like 2/2s on the field, go ahead, play this for 3 mana, give those 2/2s +7/+7. It gives it in power as well, not just the toughness, so it can kill the creatures. It can almost be used like removal. So block with those and you'll probably there'll be 9 9s. It'll be pretty big. So this can be pretty awesome. If only it was for attacking too. If you could attack and throw this on there, I think it'd be way overpowered. But still fun, great for blocking, pretty much like removal or just save yourself a little bit. Next card I got Personal Sanctuary. 2 and a white. During your turn, prevent all damage that will be dealt to you. Yeah, just prevents all damage that's dealt to you during your turn. Awesome. It's such a strange card. Next one I got Saram's Expertise. 2 and 2 white. 4 mana. Create 3 colorless servo artifact token creatures. So create 3 servos, and then you may cast a card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. I think this is super value, this card. If you have a card with converted mana cost 3 or less in your hand and you have 4 mana, play this. Why not? You're going to get 3 tokens, and then you pretty much get to play another card for free. So pretty much it's like this card costs 1, and then you pay the 3 mana for the other card. Very cool, and I think it's kind of fun, especially if you have like some sort of artifact deck or even a servo deck. Very cool. Next card I got is Terra Eternal. 2 and a white. All your lands are indestructible. All lands are indestructible, so just all lands on the battlefield are indestructible. Cool, especially if it's going up against like a deck with Armageddon or something like that, just going to try to wipe out all of the lands, save them. Very cool. Next card I got Conqueror's Pledge. 2 and 3 white. It's got a kicker cost for 6, so very expensive. You could get this for its kicker cost for 8 and 3 white, so a whole lot of mana. But put 6/1/1 white core soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. If it was kicked, you put 12 of those on the battlefield instead. So imagine having this thing kicked. You'd be putting 12 of these 1/1s on the battlefield. Huge board presence. I just think that would be a lot of fun. I have this in there. Super expensive. I don't know how reliable it is or how likely you're going to play it. But if you can get those 12 creatures out there, that would be so cool. Next card I got, looks like we're on some red stuff right here. I got Wild Evocation. 5 and a red. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player reveals a card at random from his or her hand. If it's a land card, that player puts it on the battlefield. Otherwise, that player casts it without paying its mana cost if able. So it just changes the whole game state. Everyone pretty much is going to be playing free spells, either land or spells. Fantastic, fun games I'm sure would come from this. That'd be a lot of fun to have a couple of those in your deck. Next card I got World Heart Phoenix, 3 and a white, red. It's flying, and I only have this in here because I think it would be fun for like a sliver deck. It's a 2/2 creature with flying for 4 mana, but you may play it from your graveyard by paying 1 mana of each color rather than paying its mana cost. If you do, it comes into play with 2 1/1 counters on it. So if you have this in like a sliver deck or something, you're constantly going to be having 5 mana of each color. Tap 5 mana of each color. Play this from your graveyard as just a flyer for, I don't know, a 4/4 flyer. But honestly, slivers are probably going to be better if you have like a bunch of wing slivers or something like that. They'll just out-trump this. But I just think it'd be fun to have that as well. Next card I got Elemental Appeal. It is 4 red. Got a kicker cost of 5. So if you get it for its whole cost, it's 5 and 4 red, so very expensive. You put a 7/1 red elemental creature token with trampled and haste onto the battlefield. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. If Elemental Appeal was kicked, that creature gets +7/+0 until end of turn. So it makes a 7/1 creature with haste. Then you got to get rid of it, or it can make a 14/1 creature with haste. So super huge creature that you can just kind of flash on the battlefield. Thought it deserved to spawn here. This card, very cool. Next one I got Wild Ricochet. 2 and 2 red. You may choose new target for instant or sorcery spell, then copy that spell. You may choose new target for the copy. I just think this would be a fun card. If your opponent's doing a bunch of spells, direct damaging or something like that, change this target for it and then copy it and then give him damage again. Just that'd be cool. And the art is fun as well. He's changing. He's going to hit him, but he's like, nope. Alright, next one I got Harmless Offering. 2 and a red. I always like the art on it. Super cute cat. Of course you're going to take it. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. I know there's cards in this game that, like, say, at the beginning of your upkeep, lose 2 life. Use this, give that artifact or enchantment to your opponent, and make them lose the life instead. So very cool. I just think this is a cool card. Not many cards that I can think of that really just give your opponent a thing. Very cool. Next card I got Spark Trooper. 1/2 red and a white. It's an elemental soldier with trample, lifelink, and haste, so you're going to be gaining life. It's going to be attacking right away and probably dealing damage. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice it. I always see like these kind of flashing cards. They sacrifice at the end of the turn, but it's a 6/1 that will give you at least 6 life. It will attack right away and probably deal some damage over because it's a 6. But yeah, cool card. Just get some damage and life gain. I got High Priest of Penance. It is a white and a black. It's a human clerk. It's a 1/1. And whenever it's dealt damage, you may destroy target non-land permanent. Super powerful right there. It's a 1/1, so you're going to have to put something on it or get some more power and toughness. But if you can keep damaging it consistently on each of your turns, you'll just be wiping the board of all your opponent's stuff. It's a very cool card right there. Next card I got, Prophet of Krufix. 3 a green and a blue. Untap all creatures and lands you control during each other player's untap step. And then you may cast creature cards as though they had flash. It's a 2/3 creature. You're going to have pretty much doubling your mana because you get to untap it during each other player's untap step, so even on your opponent's turn. And then you can cast creature cards that have flash. So put this in a creature heavy deck, you're just going to be flashing out so many creatures. Yeah, cool card. Definitely thought I included it. Next card I got Plasma Capture. 2 green and 2 blue. Instant, counter target spell at the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase. Add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool where X is the spell's converted mana cost. So this is sort of like mana drain, I think. Maybe that's not the correct card, but pretty much instead of adding colorless mana to your mana pool, you can add that countered spell's mana cost to your mana pool in any color. So kind of cool, help you play some stuff. Next we're on to some colorless stuff. I got Githerpuru Array, not sure how to pronounce that. 4 generic, it's an artifact. Each player may pay an additional land on each of his or her turns. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if the player has no cards in hand, that player draws 3 cards. Very cool. Extra lands, everyone gets to play 2 lands each turn. And you also get to draw 3 cards if you have no cards in your hand. So if you're playing a deck that just constantly empties your hands, this guarantees like 3 cards at the beginning of your next turn. Very cool card. I can see a lot of potential with that. Looks like the birds have joined me. I got the Veilstone Amulet, 3 mana. It's an artifact. Whenever you play a spell, creatures you control can't be target of spell or abilities opponent controlled this turn. So whenever you play a spell, it kind of gives all your creatures like hexproof. Very cool. Just a fun little card. Thought I'd do sort of an inclusion. The art makes me think of a Moxen or something like that. It's drawn by Martina Pelakrova. Next card I got, an Obelisk of Alar. 6 generic as artifact. I like these ones with all these options. 1 in a white tap, gain 5 life. 1 in a blue tap, draw a card, then discard a card, so you get a loot. 1 in a black tap, target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. 1 in red tap, deals 3 damage to target player. 1 in a green tap, target creature gets +4/+4 till end of turn. This would be great in like a sliver deck or just something like that, because you're gonna have mana of every color. You can just do so much, and they're very cheap to play. You can do, you can only have 2 mana, and it will do all of them. Very cool little obelisk. Next one I got Trading Post. 4 generic, it's an artifact. 1 tap, discard a card, you gain 4 life. 1 tap, pay a life, put a 0/1. All right, and I just had to change my camera a little bit, and then it says. 1 tap, sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. 1 tap, sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. Okay, and the last card is Decimator Web. 4 generic artifact with 4 tap, target opponent loses 2 life, gets a poison counter, then puts the top 6 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I feel like just a lot of value, really cool. I mean, 8 mana if you want to do it on like turn 1 or something like that, or the first turn you put it out. But just a cool card. Poison counters, milling them, and they lose 2 life. Just overall, cool value. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a really beautiful day. Just wanted to come out in the forest, share some fun cards with you all. I just want to say thanks for stopping by. Hope you're all doing wonderful, staying safe and healthy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a beautiful, wonderful day.